Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency Show. Uh, we're going to talk about XRP today. Today is December 24th, just before Christmas. I'm in solidarity with all the people out there who are not going to have a good Christmas, especially here in North America, because, well, they dropped the ball on the stimulus and everything, and the checks say, we're going to send out $600 checks. That would have been better than nothing. But I guess they're going to send out nothing. There's talk about sending out $2,000. That would have been good, But they ain't gonna get it in time for Christmas. Anyway, I'm in solidarity with them, and I'm not going to be celebrating Christmas. Not if they're going to have a Christmas like that. So forget it. So that's the way. That's my viewpoint on it. Uh, anyway, listen. We're going to talk about Ripple today on this show. Ripple, or if you guys know it as XRP, taking a massive fall in price. Is it a good buying opportunity right now? Well, let's get in there and let's open up the charts right here. It says the beginning of the end for Ripple and XRP as Coinbase considers its options. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what. You might be thinking, hey, Glenn must have had a crystal ball. Glenn told us he didn't like Ripple. He told us about Ripple, how it might happen with XRP, in the future, and how and he never really liked it, and he never really pointed us toward purchasing it. And this is true, and so what? If I do have a crystal ball, so what? But anyway, listen, guys, XRP's in trouble right now. And should you purchase it at these lower prices? Well, I'm going to tell you what about XRP. I never really did like XRP, and this is true, And it says, is this the beginning of the end for Ripple and XRP as Coinbase considers its options? Ripple XRP is currently the fourth biggest cryptocurrency by value. According to CoinMarketCap, it's fighting for its life. XRP, a digital token controlled by San Francisco-based company Ripple, has lost half of its value in the past 24 hours, going into free fall after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission said the token had been illegally marketed to retail customers. Now, a number of minor cryptocurrency exchanges are removing XRP from their platforms. Traders and analysts are questioning the future of XRP, along with a longtime critic calling it the beginning of the end. Okay, let's take a look at the price of XRP right now at the beginning of this show and see what's happening here with it. We're looking at a price right here of 26.8 cents each. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think about it, I am not exactly sure which way it's going to go for XRP, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's not going to die. But I'm thinking it could go down as low as like 15 cents from here. And also on the other side of that coin, I do not think you're going to make as good a gains with XRP as you'll make if your money was in Bitcoin or your money was in Litecoin. And I think what we're going to see is a rearrangement of these coins. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Litecoin move into 1 and 2 with Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Litecoin. And Ethereum's probably going to be number 3 or 4 or 5 down the list, It's possible one of these other coins could move up into the number 3 position. And, I'll tell you, I'm taking a serious look at several of these coins. One of them is Polkadot. I'm really impressed with Polkadot. And Chainlink and Cardano and Bitcoin Cash, all 4 of those coins, could move into the number 3 position with Litecoin and Bitcoin. Litecoin being the number 2, and Ethereum might be down in that mix someplace in between Bitcoin Cash and say Cardano and Polkadot, and those. It could be down in that mix. So you can see I'm not so big for Ethereum either. I'm really big for Litecoin and Bitcoin. I always have been. And also, we're moving down into these other coins. Cardano looks good. Now, I'll tell you a sleeper coin to keep your eye on is Monero. Monero is a sleeper. I would call it a bit of a sleeper. Monero is a coin that is very, very hard to trace. And there's going to be room for coins like that are very, very hard to trace. Monero right now is at number 14. But your big gains are going to be in Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin, I'll tell you, we're moving into a period right now where there's nothing less than Bitcoin standing against the central banks. And the more the central banks print, as long as they keep those interest rates down, and the money can't flow into bonds, as long as they keep those interest rates down, right? This is like a bet against the central banks, between Bitcoin and the central banks. And the more money they print, the more money is going to flow into Bitcoin. And you know what they're doing? They're deflating Bitcoin. The central banks are deflating Bitcoin. And the more they deflate Bitcoin, the more the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, and it's going to continue to go up. They're going to keep driving this thing. And right now while we speak, all the weak hands are being flushed out, and the price is not going below 23,000. This is absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like this before. The fact that they're shaking them all out of the tree right now, all the weak hands. And I'll tell you, the signal that this is putting toward me is very bullish on Bitcoin, And Bitcoin, the more money they print, the more money's going to flow into Bitcoin. And so they can't print enough money because the system's starting to collapse. And they have to print all this money. Their hands being forced. Look at them. Over there in Washington right now, they're running around trying to get this money out there. And they're trying to put the amount up, up to 2,000. And then that's going to run out pretty soon. They'll have to do 2,000 more. And it's just this never-ending printing cycle that's happening, not just in Washington, but in every country on earth and every central bank. And this is going to keep driving Bitcoin higher and higher. And then after a while, what it is it's like when you cross a certain boundary, when you're heading into a black hole. That's what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin is an infinite money sponge. And the more money it sponges, the more it deflates itself. I don't know who. I don't know. Whoever created this thing was a mastermind. And ultimately, in the end, what it's going to do is it's going to lead to a world where all of the fiat currencies become absolutely worthless. They have to have a means of exchange. So they're going to create new fiat currencies. And all of the wealth of the world's going to, at that point, will be transferred over into Bitcoin. It can absorb all of the wealth of the entire world, all of the value of everything, and it can become the one thing that where it's so valuable. And then as they start creating these new currencies that are linked to Bitcoin, it transfers its value into those new paper currencies maybe they're not paper, maybe they'll be digital. But they'll have to back them with Bitcoin. So what happens then is Bitcoin transfers its value into those new currencies that the countries create that are backed by Bitcoin. In other words, they'll be worth so much Bitcoin, right? So what you'll do is if you own Bitcoin, you'll be able to buy into those new fiat. They're not fiat, actually. They'll be backed by something, backed by Bitcoin, because they'll have no other choice except to back them with cryptos. Now, China and Russia's trying to get out of this. They're trying to use gold as their means. And it might not even work because I'm going to tell you, the whole Western world is such a big financial block. It is the block, finances-wise. Russia and China is like, they're not the financial system. The West is the financial system. And this is what's going to cause the movement into Bitcoin. And it might be such a big, powerful movement worldwide where all of the wealth transfers over, that the gold that Russia and China is trying to move into and trying to use might not have the power to overwhelm this. In other words, this is going to be as powerful as the U.S. dollar is now. And what they got over there, the gold, it's like a minority position. It's like it doesn't have the real power. The real power base, I think, is heading toward Bitcoin. That Bitcoin's going to replace the U.S. dollar as a world reserve money. And Bitcoin doesn't have to be able to scale. It doesn't have to make 100,000 transactions a second, because what's going to happen is they're going to use their currencies that are based on Bitcoin for that scaling. In other words, when say the United States creates a new digital dollar, cryptographic dollar, right, and not backed by anything, and this is the move. This is where they're going with this new act called the Banking for All Act. They're being forced into it. That's going to drive the dollar right down to nothing. We'll do it very quickly. So you get this transfer of wealth over into Bitcoin, but at a certain point, because their currency's valueless, they have to create a new currency, another layer, and they have to back it by something. You see? So what are they going to back it with? They have to back it with something of value that where the value is transferred into. And if it hasn't transferred into gold, if all the value is transferred into Bitcoin, then they'll have to use that as their means of value to give their new currency value. And when they do that, as soon as they do that, then their currency is what's going to be being transferred back and forth with all these different people sending it, constantly to pay for things. But the backing is Bitcoin. The Bitcoin doesn't have to move. So Bitcoin basically is taking the position that gold used to have when we had a gold standard. In other words, people didn't have to carry wheelbarrows full of gold across America to every time they wanted to make a transaction. They'd just use U.S. dollars. And the U.S. dollar was backed by gold up until 1971. I can see the same thing happening where the Bitcoin take the place of the gold, where the Bitcoin doesn't move. But the currencies move, and the currency might represent, maybe the U.S. dollar will be a new dollar, and it might be like 0.0000001 Bitcoin or something like that. And you'll move the dollar. You'll buy things and purchase things with the dollar, not with the Bitcoin that underlays it. See, gold doesn't move good either. Gold doesn't move across the internet at all. Bitcoin does move far better than gold. 7 transactions per second, It does move far better and easier than gold. It moves across the internet seamlessly. But gold doesn't have to move to be a backer for the fiat currencies, and Bitcoin doesn't have to move either. I hope I explained that to you guys best I could. I hope you kind of understood it. But I can see that it's being set up where Bitcoin could absorb all the world's wealth. And Bitcoin could become the reset. In other words, the central banks at a certain point would have to start buying Bitcoin, all of them, not just Iran. And the strange thing about this is the fact that Iran's getting in ahead of everybody else, a little bit ahead of everybody else, I think. Maybe not, because who knows who Satoshi is, and he's got $1 million, and it might be the U.S. central bank, for all we know. This is going to, the countries that wait too long, the central banks wait too long, they're not going to have any Bitcoin to back their currency. And they'll fall into a deep, dark depression, those countries. This wealth transfer is not just for people, it's for countries as well. I could see in countries like that didn't collect enough Bitcoin in time, them going after the citizens who have Bitcoin, trying to get the Bitcoin so that they can establish a a central bank backing for their currency. What a wild west we're living in of a world right now. I mean, this is unreal. But things are moving that fast because of the situation that they created. The central banks, of where they're devaluing all their currencies simultaneously in nothing less than a currency war, worldwide currency war, a race to the bottom as fast as they can get there. And it's accelerating now. It's reaching a fever pitch. And anyway, listen, guys, thank you for listening to my show. I know I rattled on a little bit about this, but you should have just a little, even if you only go out there and you only buy point four or something, four 100ths of a Bitcoin. Even if you only have that, like, or even point one, even if you should have a little bit, because if this thing does what I think it might do, you're not going to need a lot, because all these people out there got none. They're all in dollars. They might have $100 million in the bank, no Bitcoin, no gold, no silver. Unbelievable as that sounds, they've got their total faith and trust in the United States dollar, that it's always going to be a supremacy and everything else. They're not going to see this coming. This is going to blindside them like Pearl Harbor. Catch you guys in the next show. And you guys have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to you guys. And also, I mean, it's hard to say Merry Christmas to an awful lot of people in the United States of America right now. You know? Because they're not having a Merry Christmas. Because there is people in high places who are tight with the money. You know? And it's a shame. Big long food lines everywhere. And my condolences go out to the people who are trapped in this situation and they don't have anything on their table. It might be a good idea, if your neighbor's and one of these people, to take them over a little brown bag full of food, or something, I don't know. Charity, is good at Christmas time. Anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next show, and you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.